We're both kind of weird today. What a treat.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit weirder. Sorry about that, but
Okay.
we're both a little bit weird today.
This is Are You With Me Right Now, episode 40.
What
What happened today? I'm curious.
Sorry, I keep moving the fridge back. I dissociated for like a long time. I don't have DID. I don't mean that sort of dissociation where I'm just like gone or there's another personality happening. It's something that happens a lot with borderlines and people with anxiety disorders and people with depressive disorders. And I'm all of those, as many of us are. This has happened before, not usually for a whole day. I was getting kind of scared because it was going on all day. But I woke up at around 1:30. I don't really know why. I didn't get up and go back to bed and decide to stay there. I just didn't wake up until like 1 or 1:30. And time disorientation can really fuck with my sense of being in time and space. So I woke up at 1:30. We went to go get lunch. I accidentally locked us out of our house, and then I felt bad about it. And there were a couple things that happened all at once. My narcissistic boss called and asked me about my personal life. And then I gave her information on my personal life. Yeah, I've just been really, what's the word? Like unfocused, dazed, out of it all day since I woke up. This tends to happen when I take a nap and I'll sleep for way longer than I thought I would. I'll wake up at like 8 p.m. and be like, what the fuck? And usually I'll just go back to bed because I don't know, being awake is, I don't know, I usually feel really bad when I wake up like that. So if I slept in too late, that I'm guessing that is the thing that happened. But I haven't really felt here all day at all. Trying to think how to explain dissociation to someone who doesn't dissociate. Because again, I'm still like here. It's not like I have an alter or whatever. You just feel really empty. It's like you're looking at yourself outside of your body. You don't really feel like you're in your body. I was going through my coping skills, and the first one that not the first one, but currently the one that I like to do the most is put on makeup because I'm just staying at home anyway, so why not do something fun? And I didn't want to do makeup at all because looking at my face felt really weird. Like it didn't really seem like my body or my face. It's called derealization. There's depersonalization and derealization. Depersonalization is when you don't feel like yourself at all. Like you don't really recognize your body. You don't feel like you're here. You can move your hands in front of your face and they don't look like your hands. It's really disorienting. And derealization is kind of when it feels like you're watching yourself kind of in a dream and the things around you don't feel real. And that's kind of how I used to get when I would get drunk. That's happened sometimes still when I get drunk, and that helps me get dysregulated emotionally because things just start to feel really foreign. And I feel that way in crowds. That's usually when I have a panic attack. So I didn't go through anything traumatic today. Nothing like bad happened. I didn't have any like trauma reenactment. But my sense of time was really, really thrown off, and I think that is what it was. And then with an immediate little dose of like, haha, you suck. when you had to go run around the house and like I can't think of the word, like inject yourself through a window. I've been doing really well when I've been drunk lately too. I have not felt like this at all. I got really drunk last week and I was great emotionally. So that was cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you do this before. That's why it's a little concerning.
Yeah. I don't think it usually lasts that long. I got a little scared around 5:30. My therapy appointment was at 6 over the interwebs. And I'm glad you were busy because I was running around the house doing stuff that you haven't really seen me do to try and like snap myself back. My therapist tells me to hold ice cubes when I'm dissociating, and I really don't like doing that, but I did a lot. And I put really hot water on my hands and I try to put ice on my face. I was looking at my temporary tattoos. They're all fucking old because I'm that anxious person that can't put anything anywhere permanent. It's not even permanent, but my tattoos were old. That was a bummer. I was hoping to do something to my body, to just kind of make me recognize it. I'm painting right now. Well, not right now, but I was painting before we were recording and I was singing, and that helps a lot because I can hear myself. Yeah, I sprayed lavender smelling stuff on one of my stuffed animals. I was just trying to engage my senses. Ice worked the best. And then after therapy, I felt I'm back. Yeah, I feel like I haven't focused my eyes like all day. I was like hyperventilating at one point and shaking, and that's when I ran to the kitchen like, okay, this is scary now. I had really weird dreams last night. Like really, really weird dreams. Some of which were slightly disturbing, so that may have been part of it too. But they were about family. I've been having really stressful dreams lately. Therapist says I should write them down. I guess I got too much sleep and dreamed about weird stuff, and then I woke up halfway through the day and was really not on the same page as anything else. I'm glad you dropped me off when you did. Thank you for listening to me when I said I need to go home.
You're welcome. Yeah, we needed some groceries.
We went to the hardware store first.
Yeah.
And I did not like being there. I'm glad it wasn't very busy. It was just weird. Just the whole world feels very, very strange.
You seemed fine during lunch.
Yeah, I made a post on Reddit, on our BPD. No one really responded, but it was still good to write it down. And I wrote in that, like, recounting of the day so far that I succeeded in being very present with you in conversation at lunch, and I was really happy about that. Like, I was proud that I was able to do that, especially considering we'd spent some really good quality time yesterday together. This doesn't happen very often. Obviously, you haven't seen it in a year. And even if, I don't know, I told therapist about this, and like it felt kind of weird doing my grounding stuff, like not even like holding ice is like hardcore, startling, but it's one of the more extreme techniques I have to pull myself back. And it was strange doing that with you in the house, and I was glad you were busy because I didn't want to like alarm you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to respond to that. I don't know what to say.
What do you mean? I mean, I understand, but like, what do you mean? Go on.
I mean that I don't really know what to say about it. I don't know. I don't know how to respond to it. Any of it, I guess.
What's the feeling underneath what you just said?
I don't know.
You need some suggestion?
Sure.
We can do multiple choice.
Okay.
Fear, confusion, sadness. Wait, did I say confusion?
No, probably. I guess maybe like disconnection more than anything.
Yep. There you go. Okay. Avoidant man.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm disconnecting from you. I feel disconnected from you.
What?
Well, you said it was my avoidance, but I don't think it's my avoidance that is why I'm feeling disconnected.
No, I mean, that was interesting. You said, I don't feel like I am disconnecting from you. I feel disconnected from you.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess I just feel like I haven't really been able to reach you.
I'd say that's very accurate. Not because of anything you have done or not done or whatever. It's not about you at all.
Yeah.
I think possibly, tell me if I'm wrong, part of what makes this so hard or so like strange, I guess, and difficult to respond to is that there wasn't some sort of trigger. Nothing bad happened.
Yeah, could be.
It just kind of happened.
Sure.
For reference, this is what I considered like my purest depression behavior when I was younger, like in my teens. I went like a whole year like this at one point, and it was really, really bad. But I guess now that I'm older and have more knowledge of my symptoms and stuff, I would say it's a mix of all three. anxiety, depression, borderline, but it is very borderline. We dissociate at a pretty significant amount.
Okay.
I read a little bit on it. I was trying to say like how to stop dissociating. Let's Google that. And an article I was reading, I think it was by someone who has complex PTSD, which is an interesting disorder. Very interesting. They were saying that shit, I just lost it. Someone, she had a question at the bottom. A lot of people ask, why do our brains shut off if it's not helpful? And the answer is it used to be helpful. At one time, it was very, very helpful. And this is just your brain trying to protect you. But now the circumstances don't fit, or the dissociation doesn't fit the need anymore. But it's still what your brain does.
When? What do you mean?
What?
When was it helpful?
Ooh, till I was about 21, probably 22. Whenever I was last dating my ex-boyfriend that was crazy cheating on me.
So it was helpful to turn your brain off?
Yes, very. Yeah, every time my dad would yell at me, I would pick a spot on the wall and zone out. I would count, and I would not listen. I did that with my therapist early on. He ranted at me for 30 minutes because he really got out of his scope of what he was supposed to be saying to me, and I shut him down afterwards, but I just zoned out. And he looked at me and said, "Hey, are you still there?" And I said, "No."
Yeah.
But no, when he would yell at me, or that boyfriend, he got in a fight with my dad in front of me. They almost started punching each other. And my boyfriend faked his cute little DID. He dissociates also, obviously. He's definitely got some sort of mental illness, but he does not have disorder, or excuse me, I can't think of the word, dissociative identity disorder. Yeah, he just like wandered the streets for a few hours. I don't know where he was. I do now, but I didn't know where he was. And they almost were going to like fight the fuck out of each other. And I had to go sit with my dad in the car. He drove me to get my battery changed. That's what the fight was about. Yeah, I sing to myself in my head because I just can't be where I am when those things happen. And it's not like I'm necessarily in danger, but I'm very, very, very afraid in those situations. And there is violence about to happen usually because my dad will hurt people. And he has. I've seen it a lot. But whatever. Yeah, I just don't want to be there at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Sure.
I mean, it can be anything. Like mine was verbal and emotional abuse and witnessing a lot of violence and physical abuse. But it can be for people who experience sexual trauma. It's very common in sexual trauma because all you can do is try and get out of your mind while it's happening and just like get out of your body as much as you can. And physical abuse too. Being around something really unpleasant that you cannot escape for whatever reason. And that's why I'm a big freezer. I'm not fight or flight, I'm freeze. So that doesn't make any sense to people who have less upsetting lives than I do. But also, like, congrats on not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. Keep it that way.
Yeah. Sorry I don't have much to add to that.
That's okay. I mean, you don't really have to respond. This isn't like
a podcast.
It's not a subject. It's not something you know. It's not something that you know much about.
Yeah, I know.
And it's really weird to live with. Like, I'm sorry I've been weird today. I don't know how to like apologize for that in a way that doesn't shame myself. So like, I'm sorry that it's been strange, but I'm also not trying to be like, haha, I suck. Like, I'm so sorry that I'm unworthy. So yeah, sorry that it's been a weird day, but I guess this is where my mind needed to go today.
Sure. Okay. Fair. Yeah, I've kind of tried to leave you alone. You just seemed like you needed your own space.
Yeah, that was a little of what I read today too. Was a way to make your dissociation, if not productive, healthy, like find different ways to zone out. Like if your brain is telling you, haha, I'm going to go away now, then you probably need some space. Like, or you need to find a healthy way to channel that zone out. Like it's not bad that you are trying to zone, but let's find a way that isn't harmful. Because when people dissociate, they hurt themselves. Like that's when I would lay in bed all day. Those are the really, really bad days where I do not move. So I was really careful about what I picked out today. Because you just can't feel anything. Like anything. Like you're emotionally numb and you're physically numb. Like I was very specific on the activities that I chose. I went outside and sat with my cat. I painted. I am painting. I am not carving a rubber block. I'm not doing stamp carving. Because I'm probably going to fucking cut my finger. If not on purpose, then by accident. I was very careful making pizza for dinner. Because if you're just not looking what you're doing, like you're going to fucking hurt yourself. And then you're not even going to be mad about it because you can't feel anything anyway. It's empty and sad and it feels good and awful at the same time. You're very insulated in your own body. Is what it feels like. Like your vision feels really narrow. Yeah. You
Kind of like my toe.
Yes, your toe's dissociating. What did you do to it?
I don't know.
Why is it numb?
I don't know.
You're probably dying.
Could be.
I'm going to stop saying that because then it's going to be true. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a splinter in there or something.
I don't know.
Because it's been that way for what, like a week?
Couple weeks.
Jesus. Your toe's numb. Your heart's skipping beats. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I went to the doctor and they said nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine.
Yay. So yeah, that was today.
Fine.
Yeah. You got a lot of stuff done though.
Yeah, I got some projects done around the house.
Yeah. What did you do before I woke up?
I don't remember.
Big day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what I did this morning.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember when you got up. I did not wake up.
I don't know. It was 11:30 or so. I mean, I got up late too.
Cool.
I stayed up late though.
Yeah, you were up until like 3 a.m.
Yeah, which is normal.
It's not normal for me. I get too sleepy. All right. I think I have a topic.
Okay.
I mean, another topic.
Mm-hmm.
In case you're not done listening to me talk about myself yet. Let's see. We recently combined finances. Full real. That was like a few days ago. I almost said the rent. I paid the mortgage on the 1st, by the way. But I was having some anxiety about that. I don't know, just in the past couple weeks. Because we got me on your bank account. So now my name's on it and it's my bank account too. Which is cool. And I hadn't moved my money over yet, partially because I didn't know how to do a wire transfer. But underneath that, I was feeling really anxious about moving a couple $1,000s into a shared account with someone else. I was having some fear of abandonment. And you were like, but we live in a house together. I was like, yeah, I know. I didn't say it was not dumb. Yeah, the actual act of moving the money over, I was kind of avoiding it because I was just anxious. And that's the borderline saying like people can change their mind at any time. You know, yeah, it's been fun moving in. Sure, like staying with you now, but what about when you annoy him too much? Like he can always change his mind and not be happy with you and want to leave. I was like, oh, cool, good, great.
Yeah, at some point I was like, okay, we have bills due now. We need to go and do this, please.
Yeah, and then I did it.
Yeah.
You're a gold digger now.
Whatever.
I'm 1,000-aire. Now you are too, yay! So that was a little scary just to be battling with myself. But obviously we did it, and you haven't taken my money. I don't think you're going to. It's just a scare. I've never shared my money with anybody before. And it's been a tool of extortion in my family. So I'm sensitive about money. I'm sensitive about being judged on how I spend it. And I'm sensitive about it being taken from me or used in ways without my permission or like without considering me, because that's just been my experience with money. I haven't been able to trust anyone with my money ever before, so I just haven't. That was just that was what was behind the reluctance or like the hesitance, I guess, because I knew I was going to do it, but actually pressing the button was just kind of scary. It was just a big decision.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a big decision. I don't know if I've ever shared finances with anyone either.
Oh, bitch, gotcha. Haha. You share things with me. Uh-huh. Okay. You like me.
Yeah.
Have you really not?
Not
even with the ex-wife?
I mean, kind of, but not. I've never had like joint accounts and stuff like that. Not like this, at least. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Me neither.
I mean, my ex-wife and I had a joint account together, but we had separate finances.
Huh.
We just had access to each other's accounts. Just for convenience, I guess.
Fair enough. It's kind of cool. I didn't know this was your first foray into shared finances too.
Yeah.
We've talked about things adjacent to that. I mean, I think in the last podcast, and just kind of in general, we've been having deep conversation. Oh yeah, because we had a little baby slump for a couple weeks when we first moved in. And that was like way more distressing to me than it was to you, because you've been in a lot of relationships. And that's just kind of how relationships work. And it has not been my experience that sometimes things go downhill a little bit and then they pick back up. It's always been, it starts out great. After a few months, it gets really bad. And then it just gets worse and worse for like 6 months and then you break up. So I'm not used to the natural ups and downs at all of a long-term serious relationship because I've never had one of those. So you were completely fine about it. You're like, this is just how it goes. Like, we'll be better in 5 days. Just wait. This whole process is just learning or just experiencing what this whole living in a house together. It's really just about learning about all of the things that I do not know and have not yet experienced. And I imagine and hope that in a year from now, these will be much more routine to me and things that I have settled into. I think that's a pretty realistic time frame because I've just never been in this place or anywhere close to it ever in my life.
Sometimes I wonder if that's I guess not a bad thing, but I don't know. I guess it's not a bad thing.
What specifically?
I guess just not having any of these experiences and now having these experiences. Like, what if, I don't know. I don't really, yeah.
What if what?
I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's just irrational that it seems easier that you could abandon me.
Tell me why.
Well, just because you're like, oh, I've never experienced any of these things before, so this doesn't seem normal, so bye.
Oh.
I mean, that's irrational.
That's so sad.
I don't dwell on it, but when you talk about it sometimes, it's like, you're like, I've never experienced this before, and I don't know. It's, yeah, whatever.
That's really interesting. Thank you for saying it.
I'm kind of tired, so my thoughts don't make a lot of sense.
No, that made sense. And I have thought about that same thing, and that like the way that I hit my tooth. But that the way that I voice some of these things to you might make you feel kind of freaked out that I'm just going to leave.
Yeah, not really.
Or like at least put the idea out there that like, I don't know, that I'm flightier than you because I haven't ridden anything like this out before. You know?
Yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
I think that comes with dating a 24-year-old.
Sure.
Partially.
Yeah.
And also dating a borderline. But we have a lot of different life experiences at 24 and 33. Oh, I had a birthday. I'm 24 now.
Yeah.
We talked about we obviously speak about Jordan Peterson a lot, but you sent me a text a while ago now about Jordan Peterson says that one of the best ways to help a borderline is to love them by example. It's to be their example for security and acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think that is what I mean by like in a year, this will all seem a lot more freaking normal and not alarming to me at all. like a rough patch or sharing finances, because that's not alarming anymore because now I've been through one of them or both of them at least once. But it's just gaining experience. Borderlines learn through experiences that don't kill them and that are positive. And now with both of these things, I've so far had a positive experience with you. And you're the most like, my therapist and I talk about you all the time, like in such a good way. You walked outside during my session. I said, hey to you. And my therapist was like, he's such a good guy. I'm like, I know. We talk all the time about how like, I never thought it would be this good. But you're very steadfast in everything you do. You just wired your entire office for surround sound within a day because. And you finished it through. But you're very steadfast. You're very diligent. You are very even keel and very dependable. And you always are. I mean, even if it weren't with people other than me, like at least with me, you are consistently just the same person every day, all the time. And you are like that with everybody else too. So it just strengthens it. You very much personify in this relationship at the very least, if not your friendships and family relationships and stuff. Or notwithstanding them, excuse me, because you are that way in your other relationships. You do show me what consistent, non-dramatic love is. If we were fighting throughout this, or you were really taking it to heart that I was kind of being skittish and unsure because this is new, then that's where it would be a problem. Just because you're teaching me now. And like, you're allowed to be unsure and not be a perfect teacher. I don't want that to sound like you are now in charge of me always. But this is going very well, specifically because of just the person that you are and the consistency and support that you're showing me throughout my quick up and downs. We talked about this a while ago, in that I spiral real fast and you spiral very, very slowly. That my movements up and down and my feelings and whatever and all the other shit I go through, moment to moment, day to day, they're fleeting. I'm at a baseline, but like on top of that baseline, I will roller coaster up and down. And you keep a steady pace pretty much no matter what. So were you less steadfast and were I more irrational, it would be a shit show. But you're sticking with me. And even though it probably feels, as you just said, a little weird or tough sometimes maybe to wonder how flighty I'm going to be, I guess. You trust that I'm going to stay and keep doing what I'm doing. And you've shown me consistently that you're going to stay and keep doing what you're doing. So I'm going to stay.
Yeah, I'm not worried that you're going to go anywhere.
You don't worry, so I know. Well, I'm glad. Thank you for not worrying.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. I wouldn't be here if I were.
And I wouldn't either. I'm usually, I don't know, I think I'm quick to identify like serious issues.
Yeah.
And I try to, especially just because I have a child in a developmental phase.
You said something that really stuck with me months ago when we were having our butt nasty fight, like the stupid fight, the big one about drugs. I think it was then, you sent me a text. I was talking about abandonment with you and I was scared because drugs, because blah, 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 my experiences with them. And I was worried that you weren't going to be with me in whatever sense that meant at the time. And you text me back, I am very capable of knowing when I'm being pushed away in a relationship. I don't remember like what surrounded that. It was like that you have the capacity and the willingness to evaluate our relationship on your own terms and know when you're happy or not happy. That's really important to a borderline because we are in charge of everybody else's happiness all the time. And in our families, we had to be really preoccupied of everything someone said because it meant that, when they went up and down throughout the day, it was really relationship defining. And we had to be like, for our own safety, you know, that thought process of we have to look out for how people think about us and how our relationships are going, because we're going to lose them. Because we will. It was true. So you being able to like, not police yourself, but like evaluate your own feelings and your happiness in a relationship is a huge weight off my shoulders always. I mean, any borderlines, and I don't do that much with people anymore, or not as much. My boss excluded. But that's part of why I'm so comfortable with you, is that when I do something dumb, I try not to worry for a long time, because I used to just really hold on to it and be like, oh my God, do they fucking hate me now? Do they think I'm really dumb? After I do it. But if I annoy you or whatever, I can kind of just be like, he's going to be fine. And if he's not, then fine. Like, if you're going to hang on to something for 6 more hours when it wasn't really that important, then that's not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, today when you
I felt
locked us
so
out of the
dumb.
house,
I'm so sorry.
it wasn't your fault. You didn't know I didn't have my house keys.
Mm-mm. Yeah. And that's the thing, is you let it go. And I know you would let it go. And if you didn't, then that'd be a problem with you and not me. Like, only a dick would hold on to it for that long.
You're just lucky that I'm a criminal.
Oh, yeah. The picture I got of you going in the window was so funny. I took it off Snapchat because you were making a face at it, but it made me laugh. And I still have it in my records.
It's whatever.
Your cute little baby legs sticking out of the window. You're frogging it.
I mean, okay.
I just like you, okay?
Okay. So I don't have a lot to say this episode. I am tired, I think.
I know.
I just feel burnout. I was up late, but I've been working hard today too.
I know.
I'm just kind of mentally exhausted. Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry, I'm domineering the entire podcast.
It's fine. I'm trying to engage.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I think that these topics are fairly interesting for if we have any borderlines in the audience. Hey, bitch, I see you and I feel you, and I hope this is relatable. Because it's just been borderline-a-palooza up in here lately. Or just a lot of thoughts. Just had a lot of thoughts lately. Because we're just making big steps. Yeah, I don't know. Borderlines are a reactive species. We take in and amplify what we are given. If we are provided with security, we will learn to produce security in return. So you're doing a very good job of loving by example. Thank you.
Thanks.
And it's kind of like taking medication while in therapy. And I upped my Prozac dosage a while ago now, a couple months ago, specifically because, I mean, I'm doing good things in therapy, but if I can't control my anxiety, then I can't do those good things. You know, I use my medication to allow myself to operate, you know, in a healthy way so that I can actually do the work that's really going to heal me. Medication doesn't heal you. Work does. Emotional work does. But if I can't control my symptoms, then I have no headspace to do any of my therapy work. And I'm seeing not this relationship, but like a security in a relationship that is this important to me is kind of like medication. The relationship itself won't heal you. It can certainly assist. But it helps me operate on a baseline where I can actually do the work of like digging into a relationship, digging into who I am, doing my therapy stuff. This is a canvas or it's like a stage to act out all the things that I'm learning. And it's giving me experience to be stable with somebody else. So, yeah, I don't mean to say like, it's just a tool. Like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make me better. It does. This is the practical part of just about everything I'm doing in therapy. So you're providing me with something I've never had before, which is love and security.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, surely by now I've been through all the good traits of what a partner should be, but not all together for sure. Like I think I mentioned the other day that one of my exes was she was a very good partner, but she wasn't a very good friend. She just had a shitty attitude towards everything and everybody. But then I've had a very good friend, but just a really shitty partner. She just didn't pull her own weight in a relationship or in a household or anything. But I mean, you do both of those things very well.
I love you. Thanks.
I love you. Thanks.
And you obviously give that to me too.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've had the same mix. Lots of partners that were good friends and then really shitty partners, and I was a shitty partner with them because of where I was. Or a really good partner and just a butt fucking awful friend. Being in a new place with a new person can be initially scary, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Because if you were giving me all the same stuff that I was familiar with, this would be awful.
Yeah, fair.
It's kind of like the argument we had, like the drugs argument. God, fuck that argument. Really early on. That it was really scary for me. But after the initial shock and like just the adjustment wore off, I was fine. And that's a lot of things with me. You know this. You've experienced all of my crazy while trying something new that has a really bad connotation for me already. That the shock has to wear off, and then it's like breathing. So moving in together was a shock. Not tragic, but it was different, and it came with some changes. And this is me settling in. And I think your personality is really good for this relationship because you aren't scared off very easily. Like you can ride out the initial like shockwave and know that it's going to get better.
Yeah. I mean, well, Peterson says as a clinician to like move someone forward mentally, like the only way to conquer your fears is to face them.
Yes.
And as a clinician, it's kind of, that's kind of what they teach and practice is that, okay, I mean, the only way to the only way to get past this is just to confront it. I mean, it's not going to kill you. It's really not even going to hurt you. That's why he thinks that safe spaces are ridiculous.
I read it was like a fucking Telegraph article or something dumb, but it was good. It was about, just how in 2020 or whatever, the resolution that this person made is to question stupid fucking identity politics and just the illogical basis of a lot of liberal arguments right now and the insistence on like pushing agendas that are not accurate.
Yeah.
So.
And apparently Peterson's got a friend who is trying to coach political figures.
Hell yeah.
On, hey, you really need to stay away from identity politics and stuff like that because it's a dead end. It's not real. Like identity politics they're not going anywhere. You're just appealing to
divisiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's kind of like throwing all of these people on a heap together, you know?
Postmodernism came up in the article, which is why I decided I needed to take some documentation. It was a Telegraph article by Sherelle Jacobs. It's an English publication. It's not exactly renowned by any means. But it spoke specifically about the idolization of like Greta Thunberg. And Stormzy, I don't know who the fuck that is, but he's a rapper. Let's see. If Stormzy abuses logic, Thunberg is rewriting truth. Her potency lies in the fact that she is both the fake news messenger and the fake news. Imminent human-caused extinction level global warming is a scientific fact so beyond dispute that even a child can grasp it. This is a lie so fundamental that the failure of the BBC and other liberal media outlets to tackle it is a disgraceful dereliction of duty. The consensus, quote, on climate change, based on the statistic that 97% of scientists agree, is not only group-thinkishly unscientific in spirit, but also invalid. It's traceable back to a paper by an Australian researcher, which a later paper showed was not only unsubstantiated, but outright contradicted by its own data. Still, Greta does not want us to think, but to, quote, act. The child oracle is yanking us by the hand, not out of the eco-apocalypse's jaws, but into the jowls of vegetable-brained oblivion. Global warming is a farce, and we're group-thinkingly following someone who just says, yeah, let's do it. Let's do something.
Well, and that's all they're doing. It's just saying, let's do something, and everybody's retweeting it, and that's it. Then it's done. You solved global warming by retweeting it a bunch of times.
Yeah. That's it. That was essentially the article. It was very well written, I thought. But yeah, like, don't think, just act.
Act in what? Like, by doing what?
Do something.
By not driving to work? You know?
Yeah. Yes. Because the whole assertion of claims without any sort of backup, and the postmodernist shit about, and see, I do enjoy postmodernism to a degree. We've talked about this. I'm a fan. But not here. Not in this way. Because here it's just, here, let me see. Of course I closed it because I am so dumb for real. Stormzy is a rapper who, he put out some stance that pro-black is not anti-white. But linguistically and everything we give meaning to in the world, quote, we define in opposition to other things. To be pro-black is to identify black as a contrasting skin color to white, and then to give blacks exclusive access to a resource that is, by necessity, denied to whites. Being pro-black is definitionally and conceptually reliant on being anti-white. Words don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing means anything.
I don't know. It's such a strange concept.
It was. I mean, it is. Yeah, it was just a really interesting article because I'm not trying to put forth like, everyone's against everybody. But words mean things. And racisming other people doesn't make racism go away. Just doesn't. But just following people who can use words snappily and inaccurately and just acting instead of actually thinking about anything doesn't make anything good happen.
Yeah, my therapist and I kind of had a conversation about just how Twitter is very poisonous to society because you can't. I mean, there's not much to say, but it's just so everything's very clickbaity. You know?
Yes.
Like, hey, look at what I said. Look at what I said.
Because I'm not saying you can't support black and white shit, but like, why is everything about your skin color? Can we chill? Apparently not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it.
Shocking, truly.
But I mean, I don't identify myself in any sort of group with other people. I don't need like a group identity to feel like I belong somewhere. Your
identity is an individual, even in Animal Crossing.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, I think I take pride in being an individual. I mean, I can't say, I certainly don't identify with my physical attributes. I don't think that's any reason to lump myself in with anybody else who looks similar to me in any way. That doesn't make any sense.
I agree. There's a sub that I frequent, where I am mildly mean on the internet. It's snarking on Caroline Calloway, who is just a whole mess of a human being. And we talk, the people on the sub talk a lot about her white privilege. And in the comments, a lot of people are like, well, I can't really say anything because I'm white. Like, my opinion doesn't matter on this because I'm very white, but blah, 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 blah. Why does your opinion not matter? It does. It does matter. We're allowed to have thoughts that people think white people don't have. We're allowed to participate in discourse about prejudice.
Especially on the internet, where you can just say that your skin color is whatever you want to say it is, because your skin color doesn't matter.
I find it strange. Very strange. And I repeat, I'm a freaking social worker. I am aware of the things that go on. And I'm not like, oh yeah, go racism. Fuck all those people because of their skin color. It's just fucking dumb to police what people are allowed to say based on their skin color. I thought we were past that. I thought we were fighting that for at least one race. Guess we're not fighting it for everybody. Like if someone jumped up in the comments and said, oh, well, you can't say that. Like black people's opinions doesn't matter here or don't matter here. Really? Do you really think that would go well? It's just dumb. I didn't ever think this before I met you and like really talk to you this much. Because you remember when we used to fucking fight about identity politics on the phone. Like it just during work sometimes you would just call and be like, listen to this, I heard. We would just yell at each other about politics and identity stuff. And it was fun and very interesting. And I never would have thought about these things before we'd done that. But now it seems so frustrating and fucking trifling. Like, what a thing to care so much about. It's shallow and, like, as an argument, it is shallow and ineffectual.
Yeah. I kind of just try to ignore it because I don't really want to take place in, like, feeding it.
Yeah.
Because I don't really believe it has any actual weight. I mean, yeah, I'll rant about it a lot when it gets real stupid, but I don't know. I certainly don't try and, I don't know.
You try to critique it without being involved in it.
Yeah, I certainly don't try to get involved in it.
Yeah. Or without promoting it, rather.
Yeah.
And giving it the attention it needs to thrive.
Right. Yeah. I guess I don't mean I try not to get involved in it because I do try to combat it whenever I can.
And I don't know. It's interesting because there is a difference between playing to identity politics and defining yourself by identity politics and acknowledging your identity and others' identity. Like being aware and working against discrimination is not the same thing as demanding that we filter everybody through their race.
Right.
And that's the hard thing, is it's so fucking rampant in the world of social work. To be like, well, if you don't talk about somebody's race and like where that means they're important in society, then you are incorrect and you are being racist. Like if you don't want to include that in everything you talk about, it's insane. Because I understand the forces that are going on and like that there are serious difficulties in race relations, and there have been for a long time. It just, hey, Jim Crow was not that long ago. But that's not an excuse. And it's not all about what race you are. And harping on that doesn't change anything. And promoting the idea that everybody's race has to be like a crucial part of who they are is so limiting. Because your heritage can be really important to you. I feel that. Awesome. If you really care about your heritage and ethnicity, holla. I'm all about it. Sweet. But it just feels very backwards to really just decide because you're white, because you're Asian, or because you're black, you deserve these things and you don't deserve to have your voice heard. And like you automatically don't know shit.
Yeah, there's a recent Louder with Crowder episode on YouTube about affirmative action is racist. Changed my mind. You know, one of those sit down things that he does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat. I mean, he sits down and has debates with people about affirmative action being racist, of course. I mean, giving privilege to certain people. Well, giving privilege to black people. And I guess Latin Americans are kind of lumped in there now.
Yeah, I would say so.
But, just based on their physical attributes, not whether or not they're actually qualified for this thing. And I don't know if that makes any sense. I mean,
where that actually gets kind of hairy, affirmative action itself is kind of like focusing on identity politics in the larger picture of actually what's going on. Why I do appreciate postmodernism is that it really does question everything in your society and what it actually is made of. Why do we test for the things we do? How do we define intelligence in the US? What Eurocentric ways do we define beauty and intelligence and ability and success? Why do certain groups, namely I think white females right now, are the most highly admitted to colleges? What are we testing them on? What are we deciding qualifies you for a higher education? And those values themselves are cultural, and they're based on a long time, a lot of years of racism and colonialism. But that begs the question of, what do you test for? What do we consider intelligence? What is right to consider intelligence? And that seems to be the issue of contention, because affirmative action it's just a small facet of what even determines that you get into college. Are standardized tests actually a universal measure of who's qualified? The word qualified is already loaded. That's what I'm interested in. I don't want to fight about whether affirmative action is racist against white people. Because it matters if we're giving people different privileges. But what we actually need to be getting at is the meaning of the values that underlie all of these big institutions. And not just what word somebody used to define somebody else. Like, it's the bigger picture. Sorry, I hope that made some sort of sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
If not, nobody will ever know, because I'll just cut it out.
And no one's going to listen anyway.
That's right.
Our 3 listeners, hey, send us an email. But not if it's an advertisement about being an escort. That email still makes me fucking laugh.
Yeah, it was strange.
It was so funny. I was pulled in too. You're like, this is fake. Like, no, he wants to hang out with us.
I mean, he does, for money.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think it's bedtime.
Sex first or just bed?
I don't know. We'll see.
Suspense. Anyway.
Find out next time.
On Are You With Me Right Now? Episode 41.
Anyway, that's about all.
Peace out.
Peace out.